Hello everyone and welcome to this full moon reading. This is Fire Moon Transformations and we will be looking into the energies surrounding the full moon in Scorpio on April 26 and 27, either of these depending on where you are in the world. So the structure of this video will be as follows. First, I will get into some general intuitive messages that I've just been feeling lately. Then we will look at the overall theme, the overarching theme that is manifesting with this full moon. And then I will do an individual mini read for each sign, and there will be timestamps below. So take a look at these, and that will be kind of like a sort of lens to look through and to apply the general message depending on your sun, moon, rising. So let's get started. As I have been kind of drinking in the energies of the full moon these past few days and been outside and looked at how kind of magical and amazing it all looks where I live here, it's been a sort of interesting cyclical reflection on last year's full moon in Scorpio. So if you've watched any of my other videos so far, for the general readings for May, you can already see that I really like talking about how this Taurus season, and really just any Taurus season in general, always brings with it a very nurturing, abundant, nourishing energy, and I keep wanting to come back to that idea this month, at the turn of this month. And last year around this time, when I was contemplating the energies of the Scorpio full moon, if you want to take a listen to something that tells you more about the astrological energy surrounding the moon in Scorpio right now, I will have 2 videos linked below. So take a look at those. That will tell you more about the astrology behind it. I'm not an astrologer, but I am an intuitive, and I am aware of all of these energies. And typically the moon in the placement of Scorpio is not considered a very free-flowing, even necessarily a fortunate or exalted placement. It might even be thought of as a debilitated placement. That is, for if we're looking at a birth chart and we're reading it and we see a moon in Scorpio, that might pose some issues around the expression of emotion or the flow of energy. But when the moon is in Scorpio, and when the moon is full in Scorpio, meaning it's always Taurus season, it can be an extremely nourishing energy in a way that works with the groundedness and the earthiness of Taurian energies. So kind of like if we are to depart from that idea of the moon being a very dark and a restricted kind of energy in the sign of Scorpio, and look at how it works together and cooperates with this Taurian energy, which is always an exalted energy. The energy that I was really, and I'm so glad I just randomly pulled some oracle cards, because what I was remembering from last year is kind of an energy of the Scorpio full moon feeling somewhat like this, like very kind of cold and detached and just restrictive in a way. Kind of sending off an energy of withholding. And this is typically what the moon in Scorpio is thought to be like. The energies felt very mute, almost, I don't want to say ungenerous, but certainly cold and a little bit restricted, almost paralyzing in their intensity. And a lot of people will talk about how the moon in Scorpio will be very deep and transformative and bring up a lot of energies that might be a little bit intense. And it is true, I have been feeling this certain buildup to this moon in Scorpio. Not in a sort of Aries kind of way. Perhaps there was some of that Aries season energy left over, where there is a lot of forward movement. We'll talk about that in a second. But this year, there is none of that kind of restrictive energy, in my opinion, in my feelings, around the full moon. And rather than this kind of void-like energy emerging around it, with the moon making you feel very small, there is, I think, the other side of all of this, the other side of the, if you want to think of it as the stereotypical Scorpio energy of depth of the kind that, that paralyzes you to some degree if you're not ready for it, if you're ignoring your transformation, your need to transform, or to delve deep, or to look within, that kind of energy where you're having a kind of dark night of the soul unless you do that. But with this embrace winter, great cosmic womb, it's like almost like we're coming out of the other side of this, where we have embraced winter. We have been in this supposed cosmic womb, and we see the other side of this energy, which is, and the thing that's highlighted for most for me, I pulled some oracle cards as I was meditating on these energies, and the primary energy that wants to come up right now is that of the mother. The most kind of relevant energy, I want to say, I was looking out at this moon, the Scorpio moon, which feels so much warmer than last year. I don't know why, I just want to keep coming back to that. It feels so warm. I was thinking of the sacral chakra. The moon looked so orange one of these days, and I was so intrigued to see two cards that came up, which are soul craft and soul love, which absolutely embody this sacral chakra energy, this very creative energy. In the end, that is actually what the Scorpio energy is about. It rules the sacral chakra, the water chakra. It rules creativity, sexuality, and in some ways, motherhood. Cancer is typically considered the sign that represents the mother, but on this beautiful Scorpio-Taurus axis, in some ways, we can observe and see embodied the very birthing process and birthing space that represents the mother. It is such a beautiful, nourishing energy. And with this card that came up, with those two cards, we're moving away from this energy of fearing the depth of the Scorpio essence and the kind of potential coldness that comes through on that first step of looking within yourself, that potential coldness and detachment, into this beautiful overflowing center of the most nourishing sacral mother-like energies. And that is such a beautiful kind of message that wanted to come through and that I was already meditating on. So this is a beautiful time if you're an artistic person, a creative, and everyone is in the end, of course. And if you're watching this, you probably are tapped into some of these energies. This is a wonderful time around the Scorpio full moon to not only do some of this transformative work. Of course, every full moon is about doing some sort of transformative work, some sort of manifesting, about opening up to working with these energies within and bringing them without. But either, of course, you focus on doing that, but it is also a great time to work on the things that are really tied to your soul and that really ignite your soul and that make you connect to that beautiful sacral energy. And I pulled two oracle cards from, there's many cards on this table right now. Let me move these around. Of course, we have transformation. We'll talk about that. With Scorpio, there always is some sort of transformation. We have these beautiful cards, Alabaster Tablet of Layla, and Layla means night, I think, and Telepathy of Terra Mater. So these two cards amazingly came out together, and they represent, if this is the Scorpionic motherly energy, this is the Taurian motherly energy, and this is all about the earth and that nourishment, that beautiful nurturing energy that's surrounding us in Taurus season this year. And this is about a more kind of esoteric version of that. If the Scorpio and Taurus axis is all about the earth in the end, if Taurus is the blossoming flowers and green lands that you see on on the surface of the earth, then Scorpio is the underground. It is within the earth, but they're both part of the same whole, and they're both necessary for the beautiful grass to grow. You need that dark energy of the soil. You need those seeds to be planted. You need to spend time in that earthly womb. So this is such a deep and beautiful message that wanted to come through, and from the Kuan Yin Oracle. This was the White Light Oracle by Elena Fairchild. I will have all of these decks listed below. We get more divine feminine energy from drink from the Emerald Fountain. So this is a time of extremely deep, supported soul work, when no longer do you have to approach this process of looking within, or of kind of tending to your deepest soul work in a way that feels scary, or that feels dangerous, perhaps, like, you know, like you're delving into this void without any sort of protective guidance or energy, but you're actually doing this with the help of this nourishing divine feminine energy. This is a time of tending to that thing that makes you most connected to your creative powers in a way that's not necessarily rational. This is absolutely the most, divine feminine centric time in some ways of the year. And it is a time of great support. And for the first time, I mean, the Scorpio moon is always going to be serious to some degree. And even this year, of course it is. But more than ever, I felt a kind of hope and encouragement of the type that is actively supportive, not just in this dark, potentially scary sort of way, because the ground can be warm, can be comfortable in its seclusion, but I felt a sort of guidance towards understanding the potential for manifesting hopes in a way that hasn't been able to be there last year, the past few months. And it's just a beautiful time of healing energies around transformation, around the process itself of transformation from within, and around the process of creation, of creativity, of bringing forth ideas, things into the world, into the material. If Scorpio is about working with the inward energies and your own process of creation and a birthing, Taurus is about making sure that it truly comes out and is manifested materially. So that's just a wonderfully powerful axis around which to work this full moon. So the other thing that, of course, is already so clear in the way it comes through is this is a time where the relationship with mothers and mother figures and feminine figures is highlighted. Also a time of forgiving, as this card was on the bottom of the deck, energy surrounding relationships with mother figures, or contemplating and healing and working around transforming your just your experience with being nourished, being mothered, being supported, being surrounded by that deep just motherly energy. And that's kind of what wanted to come through with the general intuitive messages. I hope you are still here with me. It's just such a healing time in a way that is extremely gentle, but in a very, very fierce kind of way, like a fierce mother type of energy, with this card that wanted to come through from the El Ki Oracle. I picked that because it was the divine feminine kind of centered oracle, and that's because that's the energy that wanted to come through. So she who stands, Valencia, resolute, implacable, determined. So a time when you can find strength in looking within and in doing this sort of transformative, very feminine work, very inward work, rather than feeling lost in too much watery emotion or too much darkness. It is a time when you can find strength in this sort of process, and you can find strength in contemplating the relationship with the mother, maybe your mother in general, mother figures, feminine figures in your life. Who are the strong women in your life? How are you embodying the strong feminine energy? And this could be for anyone, regardless of gender and gender expression. We all embody feminine energies to some degree. It's about trusting them, nurturing them, finding power within them. It is such a beautiful and amazing message. So now let's get into some actually practical, more tangible messages maybe that want to come through. I am, of course, going to use the Moonchild tarot appropriately for the full moon. Of course, full moon readings are going to become one of the favored types of readings on this channel, which clearly is all about lunar energy and the cycles of transforming through them. So let's see what wants to come through here. What is the energy that is manifesting on this beautiful healing Scorpio full moon in April 2021? What is the energy surrounding? I knew it. Of course, yeah. I saw this card, absolutely. When I was contemplating using this deck, I absolutely envisioned this card coming out, and it is coming out. It's come out. King of Cups, representing Scorpio. I mean, we just have the energies surrounding us here. And shadow work. Yeah, this is a time about finding the nourishment, the healing, and the light within shadow work and divine wisdom. So we get right off the bat the two most powerful and unique cards in this deck, which are not even major. Oh, and the Tower, of course. They're not even major arcana or minor arcana. They're just the extra cards that this deck contains, and we get them. If this is kind of the light worker card, and this is the shadow worker card. This is the full-on integration of these energies, of finding the yin and yang between looking within in this way that does not feel like the transformative or the explorative or the, in general, the intuitive self-introspective process of transforming and of looking within is something that destroys altogether your being, but that is supported in helping you understand the bigger picture and helping you find greater wisdom about your past, yourself, and just the grander scheme of things without feeling that kind of anxiety-ridden energy that surrounds contemplations of the great vastness of the world, which sometimes happens when we think of things like that. And the Fool, that's absolutely amazing. So reconnecting with a childlike energy, with freshness of spirit, and trusting this process as one that is meant to be healing and not destructive in a way that's unkind or that is too violent. So actually, let me just reshuffle again. Let's get some clarifications on these cards. And anytime the Tower comes up in a reading that has to do with looking within, it's kind of, it can be interpreted, and I usually do, and I think I've said this in one of the individual readings, as a kind of, you either do the work or else I will make you do the work within. Two of Pentacles, yeah, the kind of integration of this energy here, of this light and dark, shadow, light work kind of thing. I don't know why I wanted to put that there. Should have been finding victory, nourishment, and blossoming in this transformation rather than a kind of violence. So with the King of Wands coming up to mirror this King of Cups, this is just, I think, more of that remaining Aries energy. There is this streak of fire that I feel with the Scorpio moon that was not there last year, that I haven't seen around it necessarily. So it's about trusting yourself to be a creative, to be in line with your most flowing energies, and to trust that you devoting time to projects or activities that tap into that sacral center is something that is protected, that is worthy of your time and effort, and that will eventually lead you on this path of self-knowledge in a way that is nourishing and supportive. With the Three of Cups, definitely a celebration of self and of creativity, of self within this process of deep, deep learning. This is also a kind of card that speaks to me of that integration between the earth and the underground, right? So we're back to that kind of idea. Let's pull a couple more cards. I'm just kind of generally pulling these at this point. This is how they want to come out. This is how they want to come out. Okay, 2 more cards. Great. Yeah. And the King of Pentacles and Queen of Cups. We get lots of the core cards here, court cards. And we have 3 kings here. So we're just missing the King of Swords. So otherwise we have cups, we have fire, we have pentacles. So yeah, that's kind of actually how I feel this time reflected. Your kind of least successful energy right now is the mind, or pure logic at this moment. So one of the things that you were encouraged to do around this time in order to set out on this process of looking within, of finding the depths of your being in a way that's nurturing rather than scary, is to let go of that inner dialogue that has to do with what is logical, what is possible, what is appropriate for you to do, what can you do, what should you do, but rather just going with that, listening to that fire within, because this King of Wands really wanted to come out to represent that fire with the 6 of Wands, this kind of finding that power within. If we go back to this card of the kind of warrior mother, the fierce protective mother, it's about finding that power, that warrior-like power within the process of creation, of creating the self, and of finding different aspects of the self. So all of this very this watery energy for you here, this very general and kind of maybe esoteric information for you. To kind of recap all of this is focus on the things that really get your creative juices flowing. And if you want to manifest something, if you want to get greater clarity on some sort of idea or some aspect of yourself that you think is in need of healing, or that you have been forced to look at, to evaluate, to heal, the best thing to do is engage the intuitive, the feminine energies, the flowing, and to kind of forget about logic right now. The best way to bring about a manifestation of anything you're asking about. And of course, full moons are all about working on manifestations. Although this one, you know, don't, if you're the type of person who wants to always do kind of like a full moon ritual or to make something happen, I feel like the path leading up to the Scorpio full moon can be thought of as a kind of crescendo of energy in this fiery way, in this unexpectedly fiery way. But the actual moment of arrival is this moment of stillness, of looking within that kind of, womb-like, I keep going to the womb metaphor, womb-like space of creation, where the birthing process is this mysterious, maybe dark, but in the end, protected and nurturing space of creation and abundance. So that's that general message that wanted to come through. Hopefully you are still with me. If you are, thank you for sticking around. So here are the general messages that want to come through for each individual sign. So again, this is kind of like the lens through which to look at this general, very watery message. So we'll begin with Taurus because we are in Taurus season. I will roll my astrological die and see which area of your life, Taurus, these full moon energies will be manifesting in. So I'll do this for every sign. Okay, so Taurus comes up. So funny, yeah. And the first house, so the body and moon energies. I mean, God, that's like basically it just full on represents the Scorpio full moon within Taurus season. So it's all about healing, all about the body, all about your outlook on yourself and who you are, Taurus. So this moon is asking you to look at how you perceive yourself. Okay, so with the page of inspiration, that's the page of fire. This means how do you feel emotionally called to express yourself and your being? How are you letting your emotions healthily determine your identity, your selfhood, and also how do your emotions affect your body right now? Look to heal any sort of physical manifestations of emotional ailments or emotions in general. It is a great time to do that kind of self-introspection. So if, you know, this Scorpio full moon is all about self-introspection, then this sort of thing, like looking, evaluating any potential pains or, yes, just body aches. I don't know why I want to say that. Evaluating them from like, when did it start? What happened in my life when this started? So maybe also a great time for a health checkup. So all about nurturing the body and expressing the self and seeing how your emotions play a role in determining your idea of who you are. So yeah, that's what wants to come through for Taurus. Now let's do Aries. I mean, no, not Aries. We're not going backwards. Let's do Gemini. So how is the Scorpio full moon affecting Gemini? Okay, so the second house, house of owning, of ownership, the very Taurian thing to come up in Taurus season, Sagittarius, how to make your life, your material life and your job fit your purpose, and how are you allowing for abundance to come through in your life? How are you receiving benefits from your life lessons rather than just hardships? So how is Saturn inspiring you to embrace abundance? And how is it gifting you abundance? for Gemini. We have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, so there might be some issues surrounding availability of anything of materials, money, finances, just issues around restriction of wanting to move beyond certain material boundaries available to you and tapping into a place of overflowing abundance so that you are able to create the things that truly ignite your passions. So again, you know, if we're to go back to the general message, the way to find a solution to this or to integrate this or to move past this is to focus on that sacral creative energy within, and to see how that can gift you a way to see past these boundaries and to receive more of the abundance rather than the hardships and the Saturnian lessons surrounding ownership, surrounding materials, surrounding materiality in your life. Okay, let's see how the Scorpio full moon is affecting Cancer this month. Ooh, okay. So we get the first house, we get Jupiter, and we get Aries. So something in Aries season Cancer has made it pretty clear what will give you and grant you success in your life and what will bring about the desired manifestations and success and abundance that you seek. So we have the Knight of Voices, or the Knight of Inspiration. There was some sort of situation this past month, because it's about Aries season, right, that allowed you to cut through the self-defeating mentalities and the self-defeating sort of assumptions that you have created or that you had created around yourself, and that maybe you have been living with for the past year, because we have one here, and that I think that is a year rather than month. So there was something that helped you cut through those, or just a moment. If you think back, when was the moment? Because you're going to recognize it when you got a sort of strong, almost external to you realization about, like, cut the bull crap, like stop saying these self-defeating things to yourself, or stop believing in this thing that is restrictive to you. And this moment or this happening or this event has given you the kind of key to unleashing your creative abundance from within. So going back to tying that together with the general message in this reading, this has to do about what you think is possible. What can you manifest in this world? What is possible for you to receive? And the answer is all is possible, and it can happen so directly and so strongly for you through your own actions if you believe that your abilities to create and your abilities to bring forth ideas and dreams is something that can be happy and that can be positive, that it doesn't have to be a difficult kind of birthing process. It is all available to you here. You can create your own reality exactly as you want to create it. You just have to be strong in releasing those self-defeating or those self-limiting beliefs and monologues. So that's a wonderful message. For Leo, let's see how the Scorpio full moon is affecting you this month. Okay, so we get Scorpio. All right, so Leo, as I've seen, and we get the 12th house, the house of Pisces, and the sun. Okay, so solar energies and lunar energies. This experience, Leo, this sort of transformative energy around the Scorpio moon, as I've just talked about, all of that mother-centric metaphor this is coming at a time when you are already dealing with energies surrounding shadow work in your life, surrounding your idea of self, surrounding your idea of what you can accomplish, of what you can be. And they're coming at a time when you feel perhaps already restricted in embodying sunlight, which as a Leo is kind of your native energy and your native flow. So 9 of inspiration, 9 of wands coming through. Yeah, you feel burdened, maybe depleted by being in a state where your energies, your solar energies, are restricted by so much lunar and maybe dark energy. But this sort of yin and yang energy that's happening right now with the earthy, the surface, and the underground kind of version of the earth and the earthiness with Scorpio and Taurus is also is really encouraging you to see this process of integration, of shadow work, of looking within that you have already been engaging in such a deep way, to see it as something that is necessary for you and that is empowering for you and that is able to heal any emotional wounds that you might have. So it's a great time to spend just reflecting on your emotions in very gentle, inward ways, and to see how this process of integration is helping you become even more of an embodiment of sunlight and of creativity. I mean, Leo is more solar plexus energy, but Leo is also about creation and bursting forth. So how can you integrate kind of more sacral and solar plexus energies, more lunar and solar energies, in a way that ignites your soul and doesn't feel restrictive? Okay, let's see what wants to come through for Virgo. How is the Scorpio full moon affecting Virgo? So we get Sagittarius, we get Venus, and we get the 7th house. So Virgo, this has to do with your relationships. And because we've just been talking about creativity, the sacral center, this has to do potentially also with your outlook on sexuality. And we get 2 cards for Virgo. You're the first to get 2 cards so far. You have felt maybe restricted and waiting for a partner who feels like you're equal and who nourishes you and who supports you in general. And yeah, with Sagittarius being there, you're wondering if shooting for this ideal or this ultimate sort of relationship is something that will always keep you hanging, or that will always keep you in this place of being alone and unnurtured. But with the 7 of material, 7 of pentacles, this is the ultimate card of planting seeds. And if there is any time to plant seeds, it is during the Scorpio full moon in Taurus, again with that axis of earthiness that we've been talking about. Planting the seed is not always going to give you the blooming bud or the blooming tree right away. You're going to have to wait a little bit, but this is a great process of manifesting this relationship that you want, or if it's more than one, or it does not have to be romantic, but a kind of sacred soul partnership that you want. This is a wonderful time to be doing that, Virgo. So how is the Scorpio full moon affecting Libras? Okay, so we get Cancer, we get the moon, and we get the 9th house, so the house of spirituality. Of course, lunar energies, and Cancer is already a lunar sign. So this is about something to do maybe with your relationship with your mother in the past, or just with your childhood and your outlook on being nurtured and supported in your youth, Libra. So let's see what this is about. With 8 of Wands here. Let me pull another card for you to clarify that. Too many. Okay. And the Sun. Okay. Yeah. So this is about you understanding the higher spiritual quality to a relationship with someone who is meant to support you, whether that is a life partner, whether that is a best friend, whether that is indeed a mother or anything, or a parent. This is about kind of, yes, understanding the higher meaning of it in your life. And what about this relationship makes you feel empowered? What about it makes you feel lost in the dark and these kind of lunar energies? What about it supports you? And what doesn't it give you that you never should be asking for from an external relationship? So how much of what you are lacking and what maybe subconsciously you look for through a relationship with someone else, you can give yourself through this beautifully sacral creative process that is so highlighted around this Scorpio and full moon in Taurus. So this is a beautiful time to contemplate that and to engage in some self-love, Libra. So how is the Scorpio full moon affecting Libra? I mean Scorpio, sorry, that was Scorpio, not Libra. We get Uranus, we get Libra, and we get the 7th house. So similar message as for Libra, actually. So maybe that's why I said Libra when I wanted to say Scorpio. And I was thinking Scorpio and I said Libra. So it's all about your relationship with, in general, your relationships with others, and finding the place, the space to be your unique self in partnerships of all kinds, Scorpio. So let's see what this is about. This is a beautiful time for you to engage in nurturing your uniqueness, and then not, we get the Queen of Voices or the Queen of Swords, air element. So yeah, it's about, this time is about finding empowerment in nourishing your uniqueness, your own uniqueness, and in not being compromised by your relationships, but finding a way to discover empowerment and nourishment within your relationships rather than restrictions to your expression of self, and to specifically the elements about yourself that you feel are most in tune and most connected to your creative power center, that sacral chakra. So who empowers you in your life? Who does not? Don't move a single inch, and don't give anyone any sort of leeway or room in your relationships that you feel compromises your soul and your creative power. Okay, so let's see, how is the Scorpio full moon affecting Sagittarius? We get Sagittarius, the 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius and Venus. Okay, so this is about finding freedom within your relationship, Sagittarius. Does that sound like a familiar thing for Sagittarius? Yeah. This video is turning out to be very long, isn't it? So what is this process about? Freedom for Sagittarius. Okay, Page of Voices, Page of Swords. Okay, so yeah, you want to be free. You want to be this kind of creative, childlike essence, which, you know, as Sagittarius embodies. How are you able to keep this lightheartedness, but at the same time delve deep into that subconscious, spiritual kind of creative process and creativity, which is in any case, at the end of the day, the essential energy that is at the root of all sorts of relationships. And this also has to do with how can you integrate the concept of home and of the feeling that you're able to explore the world and experience different facets of the world, because Venus also rules the environment. So there might also be travel in the cards for you, Sagittarius. This is a time to be free and to take that first step in this process of exploration, and to believe that and to feel supported that whatever you are exploring, whether it's relationships, an environment, yourself, you always have that inward home to come back to. So that's a very interesting message. How is the Scorpio full moon affecting Capricorn? We get moon, we get Scorpio, and we get the first house. Okay, wow. The moon has come up a lot. So Capricorn, you might be feeling a little bit triggered here by this energy, which seems so kind of antithetical in some ways to your daily routine or to your outlook on life, to the way you embody transformative energy. Wow, so death and awakening, very strong energy. So okay, so you might be going through an intense rebirth and awakening at this time, Capricorn. And you might be, for some of you, you might be discovering your intuition, the depth of your intuitive powers for the first time, or to a degree you haven't before. And this is telling you that this process is meant for you to embrace. It is fated. It is something that you can feel safe in, to go back to the idea of, in the general reading, where this creative process, this delving below the surface, in the underground, not just living on top of the earthy surface, but going below as well. You are supported and you are protected in this process of exploring that darker zone, and that there is a beautiful sort of awakening in store for you. Not only that, but a sort of return, cyclical return to your true self in a way that's even stronger than before, if you engage this process of introspection that feels maybe a little bit scary for you right now, but you're all protected and nourished as you do this. Okay, so what are the energies? How is the Scorpio full moon affecting Aquarius? Okay, so we get Pisces, second house, and Jupiter. So this is about believing in your power to manifest the wealth, the abundance that you desire. What you focus on right now on this full moon with Temperance, it's a beautiful energy. Yeah, integrating intuitive powers and intuitive energies, integrating that with the more earthly energies of working, of kind of like an Eight of Pentacles, everyday sort of work. Integrating these energies and believing that you're supported. Again, this whole idea of being supported as you engage the watery energies in bringing forth and manifesting these things that you want in a way that is safe for you, in a way that you're not wasting your time or your energies engaging this less logic-centered type of approach to creation and to bringing forth ideas or material realities. So believe in your potential to receive and to get and to create abundance, Aquarius. And how is the Scorpio full moon affecting Pisces? You get lots of Sagittarius energy. Mercury, third house, Sagittarius. So Interestingly, for Pisces, let's see what card comes up. You get very kind of mercurial, airy energies, and maybe some fire as well. So this is about you speaking into being your ideas. This is about communication. This is about what are you able to bring forth by believing in your vision and in what is possible for you to create. 10 of Cups, beautiful celebration. You're able to get all you want, all you desire. If you discover, if you delve into this kind of scorpionic depth in looking at yourself and your own mechanism of creation, and figuring out all that is possible for you to bring into being by just believing that that your voice matters and that your desire for manifestation is heard and is supported. So believe in your vision and believe in your words. They are all geared towards helping you manifest this beautiful abundance. Yeah, nice energy, Pisces. And how is the Scorpio full moon affecting Aries? Finally, we get Gemini, we get the 8th house, and we get Uranus. Okay, so 8th house, the house of Scorpio. Gemini, sign of duality, sign of the mind. And Uranus, the sign, the placement, the energy, the astrological energy of genius. So what can you achieve? What is possible for you to achieve, Aries? Well, through channeling creation and let's see, we get the Ace of Inspiration. Yeah, the Ace of Wands. Through channeling creativity or bringing forth things into the physical, in this 8th house sort of way, in this scorpionic way, by looking within, by not fearing the process of self-introspection, the process of being in a temporary dark before coming out full bloom in the light. You bring forth your ideas and your projects and your dreams even more powerfully. So that's a great message, Aries. Spend time in that sacral center of yours, whatever that means for you, and listen to your ideas. No matter how outlandish they are all possible for you to come to bring into being in material, earthy sort of ways. Wonderful time, Aries. So that is it for my video. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching. Thanks.